and how are we all? So today I wanted to do a video on the best and the worst bike packing handlebar bag that I've ever had. And shockingly enough, it's the same one. Before we go any further though, have you subscribed yet? So firstly, let me show you the bag. And it looks a little bit like this. So this is it. The best and the worst handlebar bag that I've ever had. So I'm going to sandwich this today. I'm going to tell you some good stuff, some bad stuff, and then some more good stuff, yeah? Firstly, I'm not associated or affiliated with a company in any way, shape, or form that make these. I actually can't find out who makes these. I just kind of seem to see them on random resellers. It's like they get them part of a big bulk buy deal from a company maybe in China or Taiwan or somewhere like that from a big factory. But before we kind of go into the price and where I get them from, let's talk a little bit about the bag itself. So firstly, I really like the sizing. The sizing's fantastic. So it's pretty good because it's probably about 35 to 40 centimeters wide, depending on how much you put in there. And that's really good size. So when you put it between drop bars, it doesn't interrupt your shifting if you're down shifting or up shifting. And if you're using Shimano gears, obviously you know that the actual brake lever comes across. But with this bag, because of the way it's made and set up, you actually have this nice little gap here for you to shift straight across into it. I like the fact it's got loads of little places to hang stuff off. I think that's really cool. You can see all these little bits here. This is actually for a strap to turn into a bag that I've never really used. Even on the front there, loads of little places just to hang stuff off. And the mounts are really good as well. So when you go put it on your bike, it just goes straight over your handlebars and clips in across, and you've got some security straps there as well. That's a really cool thing. The pockets are great. I've got a real thing for symmetrical stuff. I like these pockets. You've got a pocket on the side there, pocket on the side here, one on the front, and then the actual main bag itself. What I really like about that is I'm quite organized when I go bike packing. You wouldn't think, because I'm not the most organized person in general day-to-day life, but I used to have like sun cream and Sudocrem, paracetamol, ibuprofen in one side. Then in the other side, I'd have like electrolyte tablets. I'd have, you know, maybe some energy gels. And then in the front, I'd have tools and spares. So I'd have a little place for everything. Then in the center point, I'd probably be clothes or something like that. Leg warmers, arm warmers, maybe a rain jacket or something like that. So it's really well thought out. And, you know, I seem to come across a lot of these products like on Amazon and eBay and stuff like that, which look great in theory, but they just don't work on the bike. So the bad points, let's talk about some stuff that I really hate about it. It's not waterproof at all. You can tell that already. It's just cheap cloth, let's be fair. It's got no waterproof at all. So sometimes with my clothing, I used to end up actually putting it in like a Tesco bag or something, or a supermarket bag, just to keep everything nice and dry in there. But you just have to be very tactical about where you put stuff, because if it's gonna rain, it's gonna get wet. And if it's under your front wheel and you haven't got a mud guard, it's gonna throw mud and water up at it as well. So that's something to always take into account. The zips aren't great. This is actually my fourth one. After many, many miles and many, many use, and especially if you overfill them, the zips break pretty easy. And they're a real pain to actually put back on together, but they're big, thick zips, you can see here. So they are repairable, they're really easy to repair, but I haven't spoken about the price yet. You'll know why, this is my fourth one. But they do break, and then it's not the most ideal thing. I remember literally my first one I had, because I just adored it so much, I ended up cutting that side off, cutting that off when the zips broke, and it was just a little front pouch like that. It was good, yeah, it was good. I can't complain at all. It's a little bit overkill. There is kind of hooks and straps on everywhere, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but you know, it's kind of over-engineered a little bit. Even stuff like this, I don't really know what that is meant to be. You can see there's a little hole there, but it's there, so I don't know kind of why, but it could be good that if you put a bit of string and wanted to secure your bag a little bit more, if you're doing some gravel or mountain bike racing, maybe that would help. You know, not bad at all. Another thing that I do really, so that's the bad stuff. But another thing that I really, really like about it is the price. It's very cheap. So this, off eBay from some random seller, it got sent all the way from China. Took 8 days to get here. This cost the whole of, have a guess? Have you guessed yet? £8. £8 delivered from the other side of the world for this. So you can see why I've had 4 of them probably over the past 6 years. Because they're just cheap, they're throwaway. You know, if you're going on a round the world expedition, I definitely would not take one of these. If you're on a bikepacking race, which is 3-4 days, and you're just gonna fill it with food, and then you're gonna bin it in the end, then it's £8, you know, like it's crazy. Like, I speak to people about kind of throwaway stuff, and that sounds a little bit weird. You shouldn't really throw anything away. We should live in a society where that shouldn't happen. But for me, if I was to fill this with food on like a bikepacking race, and then it got empty and it was just sitting there dangling, getting in the way, I probably would just throw it away. Now that sounds crazy, but it is a good throwaway bikepacking product. I've never really been able to bring myself to throw one away. I seem to have 3 broken ones, and this is my new one. But it is really good, and I can highly recommend it. But like I said, the only things I would really watch out are waterproofing stuff and the zips. I wouldn't rely on it too much, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a good product. I will try and find a link for this. Maybe I'll find an Amazon one or an eBay one. I hope that helps. But, you know, I really rate it for such a cheap, especially if you're getting into bikepacking, cheap, easy bikepacking handlebar bag to have. Anyway, guys, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. Boom.